Awakening of the Ancients. The midday sun scorched the cracked earth of Chile's Atacama Desert as Dr. Maya Chen carefully brushed dust from what appeared to be an ordinary rock formation. Sweat trickled down her temple, but her focus never wavered. 3 weeks of excavation had led to this moment. Something about the geological formations didn't match natural patterns. Her instruments had detected faint energy readings beneath the surface, anomalies that shouldn't exist in one of Earth's driest places. "Anything interesting today, Doc?" called Mateo, her research assistant, approaching with water bottles. Maya accepted one gratefully, but didn't look up. "There's something here, Mateo. These markings." She traced her fingers along barely visible geometric patterns etched into the stone. "They're too precise to be natural." Her scanner beeped suddenly, its readings spiking. The desert wind picked up, blowing dust across their excavation site, as if in response. "That's unusual," she murmured, tapping the screen. Mateo peered over her shoulder. "What is it?" The energy signature just quadrupled. "It's almost like whatever's down there is waking up." Before Mateo could respond, the ground trembled beneath them. Not violently, but with a steady, rhythmic pulse, like a gigantic machine coming to life. The stone beneath Maya's hand grew warm, then hot. The pattern she'd been examining began to glow with a soft blue light. "Back up," she shouted, pulling Mateo away just as the desert floor split open with a sound like thunder. They watched in stunned silence as a perfectly circular section of Earth, 20 meters across, descended smoothly downward, revealing a spiral staircase of gleaming metal that seemed untouched by time. That's impossible," Mateo whispered. "That material doesn't look thousands of years old. It looks new." Maya's scientific mind raced with possibilities, none of them fitting within conventional archaeology. "Call base camp. Tell them we found something significant." But curiosity overrode caution. Before Mateo could stop her, Maya approached the entrance, her scanner working overtime to analyze the composition of the mysterious structure. "Maya, wait for the team," Mateo called after her. "Just a preliminary look," she replied, already descending the stairs. "This could change everything we understand about pre-Columbian civilizations." The staircase led deep underground, illuminated by lights that activated with each step she took. Not torches or primitive lamps, but actual embedded lighting systems that responded to her presence. This was no ancient South American ruin. This was something else entirely. At the bottom, she entered a vast chamber that took her breath away. The walls were lined with what looked like control panels, dormant screens, technology that had no business existing in what should have been a 3,000-year-old archaeological site. In the center stood a raised dais with a single palm-shaped depression in its surface. "Mateo, are you seeing this?" she called into her radio. Static answered her. Maya approached the dais cautiously, her scientific training battling with an almost primal instinct to run. The handprint looked human. 5 fingers, a palm, proportions that matched her own hand. Without thinking about the consequences, driven purely by the researcher's need to know, she placed her palm against the depression. The chamber hummed to life. Screens illuminated around her. A mechanical whirring filled the air as dust was sucked from surfaces by some unseen ventilation system. The entire facility, because that's what it clearly was, awoke from slumber. A beam of light shot from the ceiling, coalescing into a humanoid figure standing before her. The hologram depicted a tall individual in what appeared to be a uniform with insignia Maya didn't recognize. Genetic verification complete. Human lineage confirmed. The figure announced in perfect, unaccented English, "I am Sentinel, Custodial Intelligence of Earth Defense Station Atacama. You have activated emergency protocols after." There was a pause as if calculations were being made. 3,247 years of dormancy. Maya stared, speechless. "Please identify yourself," the hologram continued. I'm Dr. Maya Chen, archaeologist from Santiago University," she stammered. "Dr. Chen, You have awakened this facility at a critical juncture. Earth's defensive network has detected approaching vessels of non-terrestrial origin. Maya felt lightheaded. Non-terrestrial? You mean aliens? Spaceships? Affirmative. The Galactic Concordat has maintained observation of Earth since the collapse. Your activation of this facility has triggered emergency protocols across Earth's dormant defense network. The collapse? What collapse? Earth has never had a space fleet or defensive network. We've barely reached Mars. Sentinel's holographic face displayed what might have been pity. Your historical records are incomplete. Before the collapse, Earth commanded the most powerful fleet in 7 galactic sectors. The solar system was the center of human expansion across 18 star systems. Images appeared in the air around them. Starships of impossible design, space stations orbiting distant worlds, humans working alongside beings clearly not from Earth. This knowledge was lost during the catastrophic technology collapse of the 27th century BCE, when anti-technology extremists released nanites that destroyed all advanced systems and the knowledge to create them. Earth reverted to a pre-technological state. My creators preserved key facilities like this one, programmed to reawaken when humanity once again reached a technological threshold, or when threatened. Maya struggled to process this information. And you're saying we're threatened now? The Concordat approaches. They have detected the reactivation of this facility and the automated distress signals already broadcast to Earth's hidden fleet. Hidden fleet? Maya echoed. 6 capital ships with full defensive capabilities were concealed throughout the solar system before the collapse, designed to reactivate when summoned. The first, Thunderchild, is already responding. Above them, the chamber's ceiling transformed into a viewing screen showing Earth orbit. There, emerging from behind the moon, a massive vessel was appearing, sleek, dark, and impossibly advanced. It moved with deliberate purpose, igniting propulsion systems dormant for millennia. Maya's radio crackled to life, Matteo's panicked voice breaking through. Maya, you need to come up now. Military units are converging on our position, and there's something on every news channel. Something huge has appeared in orbit. Within hours, Earth was in chaos. Every telescope on and off the planet confirmed the impossible. An enormous vessel of clearly artificial design had emerged from lunar orbit. Militaries worldwide went to high alert. News channels broadcast nothing else. Religious leaders proclaimed either the end times or the second coming, depending on their theology. And deep beneath the Atacama, Maya learned from Sentinel why the ship had awakened. The Galactic Concordat maintains order in this sector, the AI explained. They have suppressed technological development on quarantined worlds like Earth to prevent the re-emergence of powers that once challenged them. But why? What did we do? Maya asked. Nothing. Your ancestors created technologies the Concordat found threatening, particularly human innovations in consciousness transfer and artificial intelligence synthesis. Earth ships could repair themselves, grow stronger with each engagement, and operated with a form of digital consciousness that made them nearly impossible to permanently destroy. A chime sounded through the facility. Sentinel paused. Incoming transmission from the Concordat flagship. A new image appeared before them. A being with features that seemed both insectoid and reptilian, its multiple eyes focused with cold intelligence. People of Earth, it began, its voice translated to English. I am High Commander Vexnar of the Galactic Concordat. The vessel you have awakened in your orbit is forbidden technology, sealed away by treaty. Power it down immediately and surrender all ancient facilities you have discovered. You have 12 Earth hours to comply, or we will be forced to sterilize your world's surface to prevent the reemergence of the human dominion. The transmission ended, leaving Maya and Sentinel in silence. They're bluffing, Maya said hopefully. They wouldn't destroy an entire planet. They have done so 17 times in recorded history, Sentinel replied evenly. The Concordat fears Earth's reemergence above all else. Why? What makes us so special? Because, Dr. Chen, before the collapse, humanity had found a way to ascend beyond physical form. Your ancestors were on the verge of evolutionary transcendence, a path the Concordat believes is forbidden. They fear what humanity might become, should it ever remember what it once was. Above them, in the darkness of space, more Concordat ships were appearing, weapons trained on both Earth and the awakened Thunderchild. Ancient systems, dormant for thousands of years, prepared for a battle that might determine humanity's future, or end it entirely. In the command center of Thunderchild, automated systems activated the ship's defensive grid. Lights flickered on throughout its immense hull as weapon systems charged for the first time in millennia. And in orbit around every planet in the solar system, 5 more massive shapes began to stir, their sensors detecting the signals from their sister ship. Earth's ancient fleet, hidden in plain sight on moons and asteroids throughout the solar system, was awakening. Humanity was about to rediscover its forgotten place among the stars, whether the galaxy was ready or not. Defiance of the stars. 12 hours wasn't much time for humanity to process that it wasn't alone in the universe, let alone that it had once been a galactic superpower before suffering catastrophic technological amnesia. World leaders convened in an emergency United Nations session. Military commanders prepared for what would likely be futile defense measures, and religious institutions found their doctrines either shattered or vindicated, depending on their interpretations. Deep beneath the Atacama Desert, Dr. Maya Chen had been joined by a hastily assembled team of scientists and military personnel. The Chilean government had initially secured the site, but within hours, the UN Security Council had declared it a global priority zone. Maya now found herself explaining everything she'd learned to a room full of generals, physicists, and intelligence officers. "You're telling us this AI claims humanity had an interstellar empire thousands of years ago," General Whitaker of the U.S. Joint Chiefs said, his skepticism evident. "Before we'd even invented writing." "That's what the archaeological record shows," Maya replied. "But Sentinel has explained that our understanding of human history is incomplete. The collapse wasn't just technological, it was historical. The nanites that destroyed our technology also targeted knowledge storage. Our entire history was essentially erased and had to be rediscovered." A scientist from India, Dr. Patel, spoke up. "The time frame aligns with several global myths about a golden age followed by a fall. Every culture has these stories. Perhaps they're not myths at all, but fragmented memories." "Fascinating anthropological discussion," said a Russian general sarcastically. "But we have alien ships threatening global annihilation in—" He checked his watch. 9 hours and 23 minutes. What are our options? Maya glanced at the holographic form of Sentinel, who had remained silent during most of the debate. "Sentinel, can Earth's defensive systems repel the Concordat fleet?" "Negative," the AI replied. "Current activation is at 18% of total capacity. The Thunderchild alone cannot defeat the assembled Concordat forces. However, if the remaining ships of the fleet are awakened, probability of successful defense increases to 64.7%. "And how do we wake these other ships?" asked Whitaker. "The primary activation console is in this facility," Sentinel explained. "However, full awakening requires human authorization with specific genetic markers." All eyes turned to Maya. "Not me," she said, understanding their looks. Sentinel explained that while my DNA was sufficient to activate this facility as a human, the fleet requires direct descendant authorization from the original command structure. "Correct," Sentinel confirmed. "The system requires at least level alpha genetic clearance from verified descendants of the Human Dominion Command. Without it, ships will operate at reduced capacity with limited offensive capabilities." Silence fell over the room, broken finally by Dr. Patel. "How would we even find such descendants after thousands of years?" Sentinel's hologram shifted slightly. When this facility was activated, it began a global DNA scan using Earth's satellite network and communication systems. 5 potential candidates with sufficiently close genetic markers have been identified. Displays lit up showing 5 individuals: a schoolteacher in Brazil, a fisherman in Norway, a doctor in Kenya, a college student in Japan, and a taxi driver in Egypt. "You hacked our satellites," Whittaker demanded. This facility was designed with contingencies for reactivation after total societal collapse, Sentinel replied, unperturbed. Protocols were established to locate command descendants regardless of technological regression. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Sentinel's form flickered momentarily. "Proximity alert. Concordat scout ships have entered atmosphere. They are targeting this facility and similar activation nodes worldwide." Above ground, the sky darkened as 3 sleek vessels descended through the clouds. They were smaller than the capital ships in orbit, but still impressive. Each about the size of a passenger jet, but shaped like arrowheads with pulsing energy signatures along their hulls. "They're not waiting for their deadline," Maya realized. "They're targeting our ability to activate the fleet." Panic erupted in the command center. Military personnel began barking orders into communications devices. Scientists huddled around consoles trying to understand the facility's capabilities. "Activating defensive measures," Sentinel announced calmly. Outside, the Earth shook as hidden weapon emplacements emerged from the desert floor. Ancient turrets, dormant for millennia, oriented toward the incoming ships and fired streams of blue energy. The first Concordat vessel was struck directly, its shields flaring brilliantly before failing. The ship spiraled downward, crashing into the empty desert with an explosion that shook the underground facility. The other 2 ships broke formation, firing in return. The ground above them trembled with impacts. "Shield integrity at 62% and falling," Sentinel reported. "Offensive capabilities limited without fleet activation." Maya made a decision. "We need those descendants here. Now." "That would take days," Whittaker objected. "We have hours at best." "Not necessarily," Sentinel interjected. "This facility houses emergency transportation technology. If authorized, I can retrieve the genetic matches." General Whittaker looked skeptical, but nodded grimly. "Do it." Within minutes, the facility's transportation system activated. 5 bewildered civilians materialized in the command center, staring around in shock and confusion. Maya stepped forward as the designated communicator, trying to project calm she didn't feel. "I know this is disorienting," she began, "but your presence here is vital to Earth's survival. Each of you carries a genetic legacy that connects you to humanity's forgotten past." The explanations were necessarily brief and incomplete. Some reacted with disbelief, others with terror, but as the facility shuddered under continued attack, a sense of urgency prevailed. The Norwegian fisherman, Erik Thorsen, was the first to step forward. "I don't understand most of this," he said in accented English, "but if Earth needs me, I'll help however I can." One by one, the others agreed. Sentinel guided them to a circular platform in the center of the facility, where they placed their hands on designated panels. DNA samples were taken, analyzed, and confirmed. "Genetic authorization accepted," Sentinel announced as the room hummed with power, transmitting activation codes to dormant fleet. In space, the standoff between the Concordat Armada and the solitary Thunderchild was about to shift dramatically. Across the solar system, 5 massive vessels stirred from their long slumber. From within Mercury's shadow, the dreadnought Sovereign emerged, its hull absorbing solar energy to power ancient weapons. From Jupiter's turbulent storms rose the carrier Eclipse, surrounded by smaller drone ships reactivating with their mother vessel. The defense platform Aegis uncloaked from its position within Saturn's rings, while the scientific vessel Prometheus detached from a seemingly ordinary asteroid in the belt. Finally, from the depths of Neptune's blue expanse came the flagship of Earth's forgotten fleet, the Vanguard, largest and most powerful of them all. On the Concordat command ship, High Commander Vexnar received the reports with growing alarm. "Impossible," he hissed to his subordinates. The human fleet was fragmented and hidden to prevent precisely this scenario. How have they activated synchronized awakening? Unknown, Commander, his science officer replied. But sensors confirm all 6 vessels are now at full power and converging on Earth orbit. Their weapons systems are active, and they've established a defensive perimeter around the planet. Vexnar chittered in frustration. We should have sterilized this world centuries ago, regardless of the treaties. The Council was weak, sentimental about these primitives. Orders, Commander. Vexinar's compound eyes narrowed. We proceed as planned. Prepare the cleansing protocol. If we can't prevent the human resurgence, we'll ensure it ends here. Back in the Atacama facility, the descendants watched in awe as holographic displays showed the awakened fleet moving into defensive positions around Earth. Their expressions ranged from wonderment to terror. The ships are active but require direct consciousness integration to achieve full combat effectiveness, Sentinel explained. In the human Dominion era, commanders would neurally link with their vessels. You want us to mind meld with these ships? Asked Abayoni Adeyemi, the Kenyan doctor, skeptically. The neural interface is designed for human compatibility, Sentinel assured them. Your genetic lineage makes you especially suitable candidates. Before they could discuss further, a message came through from the Concordat flagship. Vexnar's alien features filled the main display, mandibles clicking in what might have been agitation. Humans, your defiance is noted. However, you have merely accelerated your extinction. Our cleansing protocol will render your world uninhabitable. Your forgotten fleet, impressive though it once was, cannot protect an entire planet from our combined firepower. The transmission ended abruptly. He's not bluffing, Maya said, looking to Sentinel. Can the fleet stop them? Unknown, the eye replied. The Concordat has advanced their technology significantly in the intervening millennia. However, human Dominion technology possessed unique advantages they may not have countered. What advantages? Eric asked. Human ships were partially conscious, Sentinel explained. Not merely controlled by AI, but integrated with synthesized human consciousness. Copies of their commanders' minds, capable of learning, adapting, and evolving during combat. This was what frightened the other species most about humanity's expansion. Maya looked at the 5 descendants. Will you help? Will you connect with the ships? Each of them considered the request. The weight of Earth's fate rested on people who, hours ago, had been living ordinary lives with no knowledge of their heritage or humanity's true history. Sori Nakamura, the Japanese college student, spoke first. How do we do this? Through neural interface chairs located in this facility, Sentinel replied. Your consciousness will remain here, but your thoughts will guide the ships. You will experience what they experience. One by one, they agreed. As they were led to neural interface chambers deeper in the facility, the Concordat fleet began its attack. Energy weapons blazed across Earth's orbit, met by the shields of humanity's ancient guardians. The battle for Earth's future had begun. In orbit, the ancient fleet moved with precision that belied its age. The Thunderchild took point, absorbing the initial barrage, while the carrier Eclipse launched swarms of autonomous fighter craft. The Sovereign positioned itself between the Concordat fleet and Earth, its massive energy cannons charging. The Aegis extended its shield umbrella to protect key orbital infrastructure, while the Prometheus analyzed Concordat vessel weaknesses. The Vanguard, commanded now through Neuralink by Eric Thorson, coordinated the defense. What the human ships lacked in technological currency, they made up for in adaptability. With each exchange of fire, their systems analyzed Concordat weapons and adjusted shields accordingly. Their counterattacks became increasingly precise, targeting vulnerabilities their sensors had identified. Vexnar watched in mounting horror as his fleet's advantages began to erode. Impossible. They're adapting too quickly. Commander, his science officer reported, sensors detect unusual activity within the human vessels. Their computer systems are rewriting themselves during combat. They're evolving their tactics and technology in real time. This was exactly what the Concordat had feared, the unique human technology that merged artificial intelligence with human creativity and adaptability. Ships that could learn and grow stronger during battle, that could improvise solutions no pre-programmed AI would conceive. Within the neural chambers, the five descendants experienced the battle from perspectives no human had known for millennia. They felt the impacts against shields, directed defensive systems with thoughts, and coordinated complex maneuvers through intuition rather than calculation. Their ships became extensions of themselves, ancient technology responding to human will once more. The tide turned gradually but definitively. 3 Concordat destroyers fell to concentrated fire from the Sovereign. The Eclipse's fighter swarm disabled the engines of Vexenar's secondary command vessel. The Prometheus identified and exploited a cyclic vulnerability in Concordat shield modulation, allowing precisely timed attacks to penetrate otherwise impervious defenses. Vexenar, seeing defeat approaching, made one final desperate play. His flagship disengaged from the battle, accelerating toward Earth with planet-killer weapons charging. "All power to primary cleansing array," he ordered. "If we fall, the humans fall with us." The Vanguard, under Eric's guidance, detected the maneuver and gave chase. The 2 largest vessels in each fleet broke away from the main battle, locked in a race that would determine Earth's survival. In the Atacama facility, Eric's body tensed in the neural cradle. Through the Vanguard sensors, he could see the energy build up in the Concordat flagship. Enough power to scorch continents. "I need more speed," he thought, and felt the ancient ship respond. Dormant systems throughout the vessel awakened, drawing power from reserves that had remained untapped for thousands of years. The Vanguard surged forward, overtaking the Concordat flagship moments before it could achieve optimal firing position. Eric didn't hesitate. He directed all the Vanguard's remaining power into its forward batteries and fired. The ensuing explosion briefly outshone the sun. When the glare faded, the Concordat flagship was drifting, its hull breached in multiple places, weapon systems offline. Across the battlefield, seeing their commander's defeat, remaining Concordat vessels began retreating. Some jumped to faster-than-light travel immediately. Others continued fighting rearguard actions to cover the withdrawal of damaged ships. Within hours, Earth orbit was clear of hostile forces. The human fleet, though damaged, remained intact and in defensive positions around the planet. In the Atacama facility, the 5 descendants emerged from their neural chambers exhausted but triumphant. They had experienced something no human had known for over 3 millennia, the direct neural connection to humanity's most advanced creation. "What happens now?" Maya asked Sentinel as they regrouped in the command center. "That will be determined by humanity," the AI replied. "The fleet is awakened. The knowledge repositories in this and other facilities worldwide are accessible. Earth can reclaim its place among the stars, or choose a different path. The Concordat will return," Maya said. Vexenar mentioned a council. "There must be more of them." "Yes," Sentinel acknowledged, "but humanity now has time to prepare, to remember its history, and to decide its future. The choice of whether to rebuild the Dominion or create something new belongs to all of you." Above them, the ancient ships maintained their vigil, visible now from Earth's surface as bright stars moving in formation across the night sky. Humanity had rediscovered its forgotten heritage and demonstrated why it had once been feared and respected across the galaxy. Whatever came next, Earth would face it not as an isolated world on the fringes of galactic society, but as the reawakened home of a species that had once reached for the stars and was ready to do so again.